So I actually had a trade here on GPU. Okay, we actually had a trade here. I shared this trade here on Tuesday, I guess, and we were looking at a breakdown of this bullish trend line here, which is also right around the supply zone. We had a key level sitting at 1.22700, and we are looking for an entry right below that key level, which finally happened, and we took about 150 pips move in that regard. Now we have to, let me delete this one. Let me delete this. Let me delete this so that we can have a clear screen. Okay, let's have this like this. So one thing we were looking out for as we headed into the New York session yesterday was that if we see price come back into the selling opportunity zone, then we want to take another sell. Though that did not happen and price continued to the downside. So for me here on the GBPUSD, I'm very sorry, my friend. It's we already late into this one at this point. If you had missed the trade we took on Tuesday, at this point in time, it's very late, I guess. So one thing we want to be looking out for here is this: if price comes back up, that is into the selling opportunity, which I doubt that will happen this week. I think that's going to be happening next week, I guess. But if that happens, we never can predict the market. We only listen to what the market tells us. We don't want to impose our thoughts or what we feel on the market. So if market comes back into that selling opportunity zone, which also shares a confluence with our bearish trend line that we identified. Remember, on Tuesday, we identified this bearish trend line. And if price comes back into that area, then we want to be looking out for reversal patterns within the selling opportunity zone here at around 1.22200 area to take advantage of a selling projection. Now, why did we choose selling opportunity at that area? Well, the reason why we chose that area was that the reason why I chose that area that yesterday was because of this impulsive move. We saw this impulsive move from that bearish trend line here. We saw the impulsive move to the downside here. It was this impulsive move I used to determine the selling opportunity zone. But since price has broken down that impulsive move to the downside, so this will definitely change. So now, how do we now identify that selling opportunity zone? That's a very important question we want to be asking ourselves. One thing we want to be doing here is this: we want to know when this impulse leg is going to end. This impulse leg, when is it going to end? It is only when this impulse leg ends that we can identify the selling opportunity zone. And remember, our selling opportunity zone will fall within our golden zone area. And what is our golden zone area? Our golden zone area is the area between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg. So if this is going to be our impulse leg, which we don't know when it's going to end, this is our impulse leg, then we want to be running our Fibonacci retracement tool right through the length of that impulse leg to identify the golden zone area, which will fall between the 50 and the 78.6% to join a trend continuation to the downside. And if you can see this, you can see that it still falls and shares a confluence with both the key level and the bearish trend line we identified earlier. So one thing we want to be doing as we head into the New York session is this: we want to wait for this candle, this bearish and this impulse leg to end. And how do we know this impulse leg has ended? We want to see a reversal pattern sitting right at the bottom of that impulse leg in the form of a double bottom structure, inverse head and shoulder, rising wedge, or whatever pattern that forms. Then we want to see a breakout of structure to understand that that impulse leg has ended. And if that impulse leg has ended, that is, we see a breakout of structure at any point in time, then we want to bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool and run it through that impulse leg to identify an exact point where our golden zone area is going to be. So once the golden zone area is identified, we want to look for a retracement into that area, and we look for patterns on that time on the lower time frame. It could be a double top structure, like I always say, a head and shoulder pattern, a rising wedge, whatever pattern that is, a 1 2 3 reversal pattern. We look out for pattern, look out for breakouts of structure, and we can join the decline to the downside. So I'm so sorry I can't find an opportunity for you right now, but if this scenario happens, that is, price comes into that selling opportunity zone, then we want to take another sell on the GBP USD. Well, you would want to say that, okay, fine, if price is coming back into this area, why not buy it? Well, it is very, very complicated and dicey to buy on a crashing trend. That is, prices coming down outrightly and you want to buy within that area because you could get stopped out. And for me personally, it's not safe. I always look at a long-term perspective. And for those who like scalping, they could take that kind of advantage. Probably they go to that 1 minute, 5 minutes, 3 minutes time frame, 10 minutes time frame to look for such opportunities to take that move to the upside. But for me, I'll rather wait. I'll wait and wait for price to come back into that selling opportunity zone. Gives me a very good a potential, a very good risk reward where I'll be looking to take advantage of that trend continuation to the downside. So on the GBPUSD, this is what I'll be looking out for going into the New York session. And mind you, I forgot to make mention of this. If we look left, we can see that this area where price is at the moment has at one point been an area where it had served as a buying niche for participants in the market. If we look left, we can see that this area has been a buying niche. So there's a tendency that we could be seeing bullish momentum from this area. But personally, I don't want to do that buy yet. I want to price to come into the selling opportunity zone and push price to the downside. And there's another possibility here, which might happen next week. I don't know. But if price breaks above that bullish bearish trend line, then we know that we are in for a bullish potential, as a break above, a retest of structure could push price to the upside. But till then, when that happens, we will plan for that. But for at the moment, this is what I'm looking out for: a bearish momentum going into the New York session. So I think at this point, I would like to call it a day. But before I do, let's do a quick recap of what we talked about today. So the first pair we shared today was on the US oil, where I told you how we're expecting a bullish momentum from this area, as price has already, from a technical perspective, we had a breakout of that bearish trend line on the 27th of June. We saw a breakout, we took our profit, we took that bullish move to the upside. We were profitable on the US oil. We bought to $114 area before we saw price crashing back to the downside. So price is right back to do a retest of that bearish trend line that was broken on the 27th, and we appears to have been seeing a reversal structure around this area, which also shares a confluence with the key level at $106.50. So now with a breakout of $106.50, personally for me, I'm not jumping to this trade right away. I want to wait for a retest of structure to give me confirmation that we have a bullish momentum, and the confirmation will come in form of a reversal pattern on my lower time frame to join the rally to the upside from the 106.50 area. So this is what I'll be looking out for going into the New York session, with a take profit target sitting at around that same area at $114 area. Let's see how price plays out during the New York session. So we moved on to the UK oil, where we also have a similar scenario with that which we have here on the US oil. So what did we see here? We saw the same thing. We saw a breakout of the bearish trend line. We saw price hit our take profit target on Wednesday, I guess, and price came back down to do a retest of that bearish trend line, find a reversal pattern around this area. We have a breakout of the neckline at $110 area. Then we want to be looking for a retest of structure. It could be on the neckline, it could be right below the neckline, but we want to be buying right above the neckline. So if we see something like this, then we can join the rally to the upside with a take profit target sitting at $120. Now I want to add to that, if price comes above this $112, which was our major key level when we started this week, and do a retest on that level, and we see a reversal pattern on lower time frame, we want to add more positions to this trade. So that is our scenario here on the UK oil. I still remain bullish on the UK oil until setup states otherwise. Then we moved on to the AUD USD, where we expecting the selling momentum, as we already saw a breakdown of a key level we identified at 0.68600 area, and we want to see price come back into that area to give us a sign that a trend continuation is very, very likable at this point. So this is what we are looking out for, a bearish momentum here on the AUD USD. Now we moved on to the Euro USD as well, where we share the same scenario. And what we have here We were expecting price since the last 2 days to break down that key level if the bullish momentum is not going to hold, because we were expecting this demand zone to hold a bullish momentum, but unfortunately we saw price break down that demand zone, break down that key level sitting at 1.04660, and then we saw price do a retest of that structure as we can see here, and we're expecting price to go to the downside. So we have our take profit target sitting at around 1.03300, which dovetails to I think a minimum of 100 pips, I guess. Yes, a minimum of 100 pips. And I also made mention that there is a possibility that price will still come back into this area. And one thing we should understand, that this area here still remains our supply zone going forward. However, I stated something here that if we look left, we can see that this area here, we have a supplication area around this area, which has been a selling niche for participants in the market. So if we are going to buy this pair, then we want to see price break all through that supplication area. Then we see a retest of structure. We look for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to go for a buy. But if that does not happen, then we want to continue to look for selling opportunities here on the Euro USD. Now we moved on to the gold. On the gold, we're already in profit on the gold. If you are taking advantage, it was a kudos to you. You really did a good job to have done that. But for those who missed it, then definitely we will have to hold on. We have to be very patient as we want to see price come back into either of the key level or this bullish trend line to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. So our take profit target still sits at around $1,780, and let's see how price plays out during the New York session. Then on the final one on our list was the GBPUSD, where we explained how we enjoyed the selling momentum. On Tuesday, we took about 150 pips on this one, and it was a good trade for us. And one thing we want to be looking out for here is this. We want to be looking out for an opportunity to take another selling momentum, considering what has been happening since the beginning of, I think since on the 10th of June, or since at the beginning of the month of June, we've been seeing bearish momentum here. And because of that, after connecting the series of lower highs, since on the 16th of June, we have a uniform bearish trend line to work with. And what we want to be looking out for is this. If price comes back up into this area, showing a confluence with the key level or bearish trend line here, we want to be doing a sell from this area. Remember, I told you that this selling opportunity zone is subject to change, as we don't know when this impulsive move is going to end. This impulsive move, we don't know when it's going to end. This one here, we don't know when it's going to end. We can only know when it's going to end when we see a reversal pattern sitting right at the end of that impulse leg. We see something like this, and then we know that breakout of structure. Then we know that that impulsive move has ended. Then we can now bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool and run it through that impulse leg right from the top where it started this week, and then we can find our golden zone area between the 50 and the 78.6% of that impulse leg, where we will be using as our selling opportunity zone to take advantage of any selling momentum from this point on. And we also, something came to my mind here. People will be asking, okay, why not, if we know that price is going to come into the selling opportunity zone, why not then buy? Of course, you could buy, but it's a counter trend. It's a counter trend opportunity. I'm always not very comfortable with counter trend opportunities, considering the long-term bearish momentum on this pair. So if you are taking a counter trend opportunity, probably you're a scalper, probably you work on your 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes time frame where you want to be looking for such opportunities. Well, you can do that, but one thing for me is this: I want to wait. I love patience. I will wait and wait till price comes into that area, and if it doesn't, then I'll pass that trade. There are plenty and tons of opportunity right here in the forex market. So on this note, I would like to say thank you for being around. In fact, I'm really very grateful to have another moment with you guys today, being the last day of the trading week. We're getting prepared for the weekend, and I'm very sure you have a tons of activities for the weekend that will make you some fun. And at the same time, I'm wishing you a happy new month. Let's look forward to this new month on a high note, on a profitable note. As on Monday, I hope that we'll come here and see tons of opportunities to take for the new month. So thank you for being around. Let's see same time Monday morning, 11 a.m. West African time as usual. And I sign out at this point. Thank you very much. Love you all. Bye.